Hello everybody, I hope you have all had a really good week. You have really been impressing me with your English work this week, especially I've loved the creativity that some of you have had with creating rules for the Alien Hotel. It did make me laugh. I certainly wouldn't like to stay in a hotel with aliens, that's for sure. Just a little thing, remember, even if you're typing your work on the computer or handwriting it, remember when you're writing sentences to include capital letters at the beginning of a sentence or the name of a place or person. And also, if you could remember to use full stops at the end of your sentences as well. So, next week for art on one of your activities, which will be on the overview of your home learning, which will be sent out on Sunday, I'd like you to create your own space collage. You can use anything you like, but make sure you ask a grown-up first. It's been great to see lots of your work on Purple Mash as well, or the stuff that's been sent in to me via email. Please keep it up. It's been really lovely to see and hear about what you've been doing. It's also been fantastic to see how many of you have been using Times Table Rockstars this week, and today I've set up a battle between the boys and girls in our class. So again, I'd like to encourage all of you to try and use it as much as you can. So I thought today it'd be nice if I read a chapter of a story to you all. So I'm going to read chapter 1 from the story called The Hen Who Wouldn't Give Up by the author Jill Tomlinson. Chapter 1. Hilda has an upsetting morning. Hilda was a hen, a small brown speckled hen, and she lived on Biddick's farm in a village called Little Dollop. Hilda was very excited. Her auntie had just hatched out 5 baby chicks. Hilda was dying to see them. The trouble was, her auntie lived in Muchwallop, and that was 5 miles away. How was Hilda going to get there? It was too far to walk. She sat in her favourite spot under the hedge and had a good think. Suddenly, Hilda perked up her head. Of course, she would have to get a lift. She squeezed through the hedge and hurried down the muddy lane from the farm. There'll be lots of cars and things on the main road, she said to herself. I'll be in Muchwallop in no time. Won't Auntie be surprised to see me? But when Hilda reached the road, there was nothing in sight. Perhaps I shall find something further on, she thought, and set off in the direction of Muchwallop. She was in luck. Just around the corner there was a row of cottages, and parked in front of them was a big green lorry thing. It was rather an odd box-like shape, with an open half-door at the back. Hilda hopped onto this and peered inside. She could not see very clearly, but it seemed to be full of torn packets and ashes and old tins. It smelled very nasty. Still, this was no time to be fussy. Hilda hopped daintily down and settled on an old cornflake packet. There was a few cornflakes left in it. Hilda was very fond of cornflakes. She was just finishing the last one when she had a terrible shock. There was a great clanging and banging, and then a shower of horrible things was poured on top of her. She was battered and bumped by rotten apples and sticky baked bean tins and spiky fish bones and all sorts of unspeakable things. Hilda was too shocked to squawk. She thought she was going to be buried alive. At last it stopped, but worse was to come. A voice shouted, "All right, Bill, up she goes!" and the whole thing began to tip up. This helped at first, because all of the rubbish rolled off Hilda again and unburied her, but it went on tipping until all the rubbish was piled at the other end of the cart, with Hilda, fluttering and furious, tumbled on top of it. It was bad enough to have dustbins emptied on her head, but to be turned upside down as well. It was too much. Hilda spread her wings and fluttered to the open end of the cart, which was now facing up to the sky. Just as she got there, the whole thing began to swing down again. Hilda clung desperately to the tailboard as it plunged to earth. When it stopped, she hopped down and began to run. She did not stop running until she was safely back in the farm lane again. She was shaking all over. "Oh dear," she clucked, collapsing into a sad little heap by the ditch. "Oh dear, dear." When she had rested a little, Hilda shook the dust out of her feathers and had a good wash in the ditch. She felt a lot better after that. "Silly me," she muttered to herself as she pecked away at a patch of treacle on her tail. "I would choose a rubbish cart. Never mind. I'm going to see Auntie's chicks somehow. I'll try again tomorrow, on something cleaner." And brave little Hilda moved her head and set off home to the farm. Now I hope you really enjoyed that, and next week we'll find out what happens when Hilda gets a lift. So as I said, well done for all of your learning this week. Keep up the hard work, and don't forget to send anything that you write on paper on Purple Mash, or you can email it to the class email address. So have a great weekend, have a good week, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.